Greetings and welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is another XRP video for today, as usual. Therefore, wherever you are in this vast world, I hope you are all enjoying your day. Altus Plateau shared this with me earlier today, and we will be discussing XRP. Uphold is the source of this. Coins won't be the only thing driving the next boom. It's about finance being reshaped by real-world assets. As a result, adoption increases and technology becomes more rapid, affordable, and seamless. Listen in on Chainlink's Sergey.
Our industry is going to boom through the merging of DeFi and TradFi. We're going to be looking at tens of trillions of dollars in market cap. We're going to reach a point where the majority of that market cap is not cryptocurrencies, but actually real-world assets, like stable coins, tokenized funds, tokenized equities, tokenized commodities. That will naturally redefine what our industry is, because it will no longer be about idea coins or coins related to digital gold or Bitcoin or something. They will now be about real world assets. Our industry will become about real world assets more than cryptocurrencies. It's just by the numbers. And that will lead to a polishing of the technology to the point where it will become low cost and easy to adopt it for all those other use cases, like ad networks, supply chains, insurance, concert tickets, real estate, and so on.
And all this time, I have been saying that. Once stablecoins and real-world assets gain traction, Bitcoin will become less significant. Until then. And he also mentioned precisely that there. But what about XRP and LINK as well, if it's going to be all about tangible assets?
LINK and XRP are different in that LINK can move anything of value, while XRP can only move money. Remittances, banks, quick, low-cost and cross-border payments. Additionally, the XRP ledger processes 1,500 transactions every second. In fact, it's already capable of handling more. Trillions of transactions occur every second when the interledger protocol is added. Data is moved using LINK. Oracle Network fuels DeFi and smart contracts by supplying blockchains with real-world data. LINK safeguards data and compensates node operators. LINK is a data bridge and XRP is a money bridge.
Let's return to tangible assets now. Let's imagine someone wishes to transfer a physical asset from one location to another. They could transfer that tokenized asset using XRP. Additionally, the data involved in that transaction would be moved by LINK. That illustrates how LINK and XRP will work in tandem. It's not LINK versus XRP, whatever everyone believes. Their use cases are completely different. However, over time, both LINK and XRP will profit from the increasing value of real-world assets. Zach Rector is the source of this. By October 17th, XRP had risen from $4 to $7 before the ETF rally. You can never count on that to occur whenever you put a date on something. Sincerely, I believe that a $4 XRP will occur before mid-October. Because people will be positioning themselves ahead of those ETFs, I believe that XRP will begin to rise in value. However, what is happening at this moment as well? Many of these businesses are already developing XRP treasuries. And now that another business has chosen to launch an XRP treasury, it appears to be a weekly announcement. That should continue throughout the remainder of this year, in my opinion. And the number of businesses doing that will continue to rise. However, any kind of stimulus might be able to move XRP. It might even be actual occurrences. However, what is the current story? September is predicted by everyone to be the worst month for cryptocurrency. Additionally, the market typically moves in the opposite direction if that is the story. Who knows then? It's possible that September may be an extremely bullish month. No one could predict this market with 100% accuracy, so you will have to wait and see how it develops. And Ashley Prosper is the source of this.
I showed you this video the other day of Caitlin Long discussing Ripple's role in legalizing corruption and paying to play in the US. However, this was the one thing I neglected to add.
You were granted a FedMaster account by Ripple. I don't see why you are constantly complaining about Ripple. You continued to donate and lobby despite everything. Your failure was all due to your own conceit. Custodia Bank received support from the XRP community. We don't know. This is where you can see it. We'll try our best to assist you if you let us know what you need. XRP Army. We support Ripple. We support LBRY. Pleased with the outcome. We are assisting Custodia, Binance, and Coinbase. Suddenly, she activated Ripple and the XRP community. Do you know why? Because she believed that Bitcoin would only be available in Washington. The president instead provided an equal playing field. The strategic reserve comprised XRP. Imagine for a moment that this were to occur. Imagine Ripple being granted a bank license more quickly. Yes, it would be without a doubt. All over X, she would be in a full-blown tirade. And it is possible for such to occur. They can expedite this in an emergency. And that charter will go to Ripple. People are already speculating that this might not be finished until February 2026. Personally, I believe that it will endure. In Washington, everything seems to go right up to the very end. After that, it is approved. However, this bank license is going to Ripple. That will take place, because this will already be made by the elites. Ripple will be positioned like a bank. In my opinion, Ripple may even become a central bank in the future. In this significant market, XRP Ledger sets a new all-time high of $131.6 million. It is the market capitalization of an actual asset. XRP Ledger has $131.6 million at the end of the second quarter. It's still very, very early. Real-world asset tokenization hasn't even begun to gain traction yet. Later this year, regulations are anticipated to do that. The boom for real-world assets will occur sooner rather than later, if rules are implemented in the United States. However, it's encouraging to see that real-world assets are already being added to the XRP ledger. Furthermore, I find it incomprehensible that Bitcoin Maxis keeps bringing up XRP. However, this man is genuinely insane. Listen to it.
Tulip mania. I will remind everyone, okay? Don't listen to that bullshit story. All you hear is the tulips. The entire flower market in the world still transacts through the Netherlands.
Correct.
Bitcoin is the platform. What are you guys talking about? I don't care if XRP crashes. Okay, that's the tulip. There's a platform of flowers that are traded around the world, and it all happens in tulip land. Like, that's a big deal, man. But what do you hear? Oh, tulip crash. What do you mean tulip crash, dude? All the flowers still trade through there, okay?
The one-time tulip crash, by the way.
And why must they bring up XRP? Have you noticed that before? Bitcoin is being shilled. They are discussing how Bitcoin will become widely used. Additionally, they are unable to stop discussing XRP. Do you know why? Since they consider it to be the greatest danger in this area, and that will not go. As XRP continues to gain pace and usage, its entire dream is fading away. It won't be long before XRP becomes the most popular cryptocurrency. However, not all Bitcoin maxis share such a viewpoint. International payments are not working. XRP is the solution, according to Elliot Johnson, CEO of the Bitcoin Treasury. Quick, cross-border, and future-oriented, the antiquated system is breaking down. The gateway to a new financial era is XRP. You know, some Bitcoin enthusiasts and Bitcoin gurus are beginning to realize that it's not going to be just Bitcoin. The fact that Bitcoin is merely another cryptocurrency is beginning to dawn on them. Since it is what it is, it's not really noteworthy. To make it appear unique, they attempt to isolate it from the rest of the cryptocurrency industry, although this isn't the case. Additionally, many of these Bitcoin maxis are now beginning to switch to XRP. And it's often Solana if it's not XRP. Ethereum is where some wind up. However, the original Bitcoin owners are selling out because they don't like the direction that the cryptocurrency is taking. You are opposing the US government on the one hand. Keep in mind that the US dollar and banks will be replaced by Bitcoin. However, they want the US government to purchase Bitcoin to save them. A double standard, if you will. Additionally, this is a tribal arena where individuals pay to play in the US, which is why the US government would bring up any other cryptocurrency outside Bitcoin. The idea is so hypocritical. However, this is a result of their intense dread of XRP. Ripple will outlast Bitcoin and Swift. Moreover, XRP is built for the next 7 decades. Go over it carefully. Since Ripple is an improved Swift and the Bitcoin network, it may be able to endure. Additionally, traditional financial institutions might use it to gain sophisticated knowledge of the modern service sector. This is what is happening. It will take the next 70 years if Ripple replaces Swift. For the next 70 plus years, that will be the financial system that everyone uses. In 70 years, Bitcoin won't exist. It will eventually be headed toward irrelevance. Additionally, it will be more of a collector's piece than an investment. That will eventually occur. And that will probably occur when Swift is superseded by Ripple as the future banking system. All of this started long before any of us made any cryptocurrency investments. Many Americans are still unaware of cryptocurrency, even though 55 million people use it now. To learn why, we polled non-holders. It turns out that 55% of people feel overwhelmed by the research process. No one enjoys conducting their own study, you know? On the other hand, you could explain XRP with ease. You just explain that it is designed to transport valuable items from point A to point B. Since it is designed to service more than 8 billion individuals, there are 100 billion tokens. You explain that if they invest in cryptocurrencies today, they might make a ridiculous amount of money over the next few months, even if they don't think that they can move money or value throughout the world. For the remainder of this year, everyone will profit from this industry, and the only question is when XRP will begin to gain traction. However, this entire area is likely to flourish. There is yet another surge in Bitcoin. Additionally, all of these altcoins will function in tandem. Utility-driven coins will eventually start operating on utility, in my opinion, and will wind up in a utility run when that occurs. However, I don't think the study process is the main reason why individuals stay away from cryptocurrency. I believe that people's lack of faith in this system is what actually keeps them out. To them, anything isn't real if they can't hold it in their hands. It's not real to them if they can't spend it the way you walk into a business with a $20 note. However, we are approaching the time when blockchain and cryptocurrency will power everything. Investing while you're still young is preferable to chasing green candles later, because you refuse to hear those who told you that this was the best chance of your life. All you need to do is put in a small amount of cash, then relax and watch for it to happen. However, that is not how most people see it. However, I'm arguing that once the green candles appear, they will all perceive it that way. And until it does, maintain your patience and optimism.